I am Nathan Oakley, and you join me on a beautiful Friday afternoon where I'd normally be sat in this room, extremely dark, with a projector running and a live show. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case today, as there's been a massive technical issue. So I don't know if I can actually flip the camera around. No, I'm going to have to do it in edit. Okay, so this is the computer that runs Flat Earth Debate. And I pulled it out here in case there was a problem with the cable itself. Maybe the fuse had gone in the wire where it usually resides, which is over there. Last thing I want to be doing is yanking it out of where it lives, as there's a horrendous amount of cables that go into it. Nevertheless, it's died on its arse. I don't know why. I'm going to take it to Click OK, which is a local shop in Leamington, and just ask them why it's not firing up. Hopefully it's something like the power button's broken, or I don't know what. Who cares? It's not working, which means I can't run the show, which is absolutely devastating. So for that reason alone, I've got to get it immediately fixed. So I've already called him in advance and said, look, can I bring this in? I'm supposed to be doing a live show. Please make it work. It doesn't turn on. So he's hopefully going to get that working. However, in the meantime, that basically means that there is going to be no live show, because without this computer, I can't run the show. So that's kind of a fait accompli. There's not going to be a live show until I get this computer fixed. Now, as a direct consequence of that, it's also kind of the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of me having to do a bit of e-begging to compensate for this fact. So I am left now in a position where lots of things have all broken at exactly the same time. So I've got two of my amps that are currently out for repair. One was sent off yesterday, or picked up and collected yesterday. The other one had gone back a couple of weeks ago, maybe a bit longer. And the fridge that we use, oh yeah, that's fun. Let's show you that. Our fridge situation, marvellous. No fridge, because it blew up. It set on fire, so the back of it, one of the circuit boards died. So now we're reduced to an ice bag with milk in it. That's our fridge currently. Now, nobody can anticipate that this is going to be the case, especially when I did a bit of e-begging in one of my own streams, or mentioned that I wanted to buy a subwoofer that I've been looking for a number of years, and it just happened to come up in excellent condition. So as I'm turning 40, I bought it. Very, very foolish of me, because now I'm in a situation where I've paid cash for an item and have no surplus cash flow to actually repair a fridge, two amplifiers and a computer. Now, while my folly on a subwoofer is of no concern to anybody who I'm going to be e-begging, the show not running most definitely is. So I don't want to be in a position, even though I am humble, I don't want to be in a position where I have to e-beg just to make the show run. But that is literally what has happened today when this PC died. So I essentially have no option. I will set up a GoFundMe. I don't know what the circumstances are in terms of getting just the equipment to get the show running. I don't know what the circumstances are in terms of what it's going to cost. I've no idea how much the amp repairs are going to be, or what the PC is going to be. But what I do know is I don't have any funds to actually do this. That said, the show will run anyway, so obviously there's no obligation for anybody to support me and my running of my show. That's my obligation, my priority, and obviously if I can't financially do that, that's essentially my problem. So if nobody helps me, fair enough, that's just the way it'll have to be. Hopefully I will get at least some degree of support to resolve this problem, or these problems, quickly, but I may not. So if that is the case, I do have surplus shows, so shows that I can run. Some of them haven't aired, so some of them will be new, and I can divvy those out over, I don't know if I've got a couple of months worth, but hopefully enough time for me to regain my financial stability and actually be able to afford to get the show back on the road, which it currently is not, and may not be for the foreseeable future, depending on how much support I get. So as much as it is slightly embarrassing to actually have to put your hand in the air and say, actually, I'm now slightly screwed, I've run out of money and something has broken which I literally cannot afford to repair. I've also, on one of the shows that's unreleased, done a massive shout out to all the people who support me on Patreon. So typically the sort of £300 or thereabouts that I get on Patreon each month, I will spend on maintaining the show. So I have used money from Patreon to maintain amps, to put towards things like the projector, which also went bang, as they do quite frequently. But drips and drabs as I get money, and I also do like these things, which are like acoustic treatment. So, you know, I can buy them piecemeal, which I have been doing over a fairly prolonged period, and basically getting the room to sound better when I do recordings in it. So it's just little bits and bobs. When I don't have a string of things go wrong, I'll buy little things, like, well, not little, but in terms of cost they are, things like the acoustic treatment, which I've done over, as I say, a period of time, and it has significantly improved the sound of the show. But yeah, you can't really anticipate that you're not going to need several £100 maybe into the oh, God, I hope I don't have to spend £1,000 fixing these items. Nevertheless, that is quite likely in terms of what I'm actually indebted to currently, based on the fact that I've also had a fridge blow up, which isn't necessarily what anybody needs at any given time. So there we go, that's my excuses out of the way. So to recap, there's not going to be a live show for the foreseeable future until I can get this computer fixed, because even with the bare bones of amplifiers, i.e. one amplifier to run one speaker, which is currently what I'm doing with 2 of them in repair, I literally can't run the show without having a computer to run it with. So as much as it pains me to do so, I would rather be financially stable enough to not have to do this, but that is simply not the case, and I want to be running the show. I love what I do, and I hope there's enough people out there that appreciate that they want to see the show running and will hopefully chuck me a buck or two to get this computer fixed, get the amplifiers fixed. As I say, the fridge, not really a concern of you on YouTube, whether or not I've got cold food or not. But there we go, it is just one of those things that's put me in this position where I'm having to e-beg to keep the show running. So that's my unfortunate circumstances. But yeah, what else can I tell you? Maybe as I'm actually here with the room being shown, so I can do a bit of Nathan Oakley 1980 e-begging to keep it functioning. I might as well show you what I actually use. A lot of this equipment's quite old, although it does look quite flash. So the speakers, for example, they're 20 years old. I got them in either 1999 or 2000, something around there. So I've had them for a very long time. There's probably 8-year-old videos on them in this room on YouTube, on this channel, just with the decorating being different. But yeah, what else can I tell you? So the room's been acoustic treated, so these things are diffusers and bass traps. Some of these get called super chunks, these things in the corner. And they've also got, what would you call it, Owens Corning, like fiberglass in these black things that straddle the corners, and they go all the way around the room. I'm not quite done with that yet. Obviously, that's been put on hold for the now. There's another one that's going to go in that gap. I'm actually getting one for my 40th birthday from my brother and sister. So I'm getting another one of those, which is a curved diffuser, and that's going to sit at the back of the room, just there. Not particularly exciting, it's just a curved thing that will go there. And there's also another bass trap that I'll buy. Again, this will probably be paid for over a prolonged period by Patreon contributions. So that's what's going to go there. And there's another one that's due to go in the corner that will look like that, but half the width, and then lengthways down there. So that's kind of it in terms of what else is to be done. Oh yes, the ceiling. So I will put some bass traps on the ceiling. You can probably see the little bits of tape up there where I've marked out that I'm going to have bass traps, but you know, they're about, I don't know, maybe £100 for some of these panels. That black one in the corner was £100. These, what did I say they call them? Super chunks, 30 grams per meter squared, I think it is. Excellent for bass absorption, but they are about £25 each. You can probably see there's 3 of them, including the cube at the bottom. So not a lot of money. You can buy bits and pieces. The black panels, they were about £40 for these. So yeah, excellent. So when you get the shout out, all of you on Patreon who do support me anyway, you've probably been bored to death already with some of the videos that I put out as I've been putting these panels up. Look, more acoustic treatment. This one's a diffuser. So yeah, big shout out again to all of you who do support me on Patreon. But yeah, please smash the GoFundMe link, which I will set up prior to actually publishing and editing this video. Hopefully I can get some support and financial in this instance to keep the flat earth debate running as it has been. That's pretty much it for this impromptu, definitely unplanned, definitely not wanted vlog and e-begging session. I'll see you guys in the next video.